Maybe you've been storing Bitcoin securely on a paper wallet for years and you're looking for a way to either send it onto something more flexible like a hardware wallet or maybe onto an exchange or somewhere else. And you want to know how to do that securely. A lot of the guides that you see out there basically just tell you to use a software wallet and to sweep it, maybe even to use a software wallet with your hard wallet connected to generate the address to sweep it. But at the end of the day, that is still not a very secure way to sweep a paper wallet, especially if you're trying to sweep a large amount. This video is just an updated version of a video I made previously that looks at how to securely sweep a paper wallet, and it's been updated to work with Electrum 4 because some things did change a little bit. And if you haven't already done so, hit subscribe, and that way you can stay in the loop for content I make to help you find your way in the crazy and often hostile environment that is cryptocurrency. So this is pretty much the process we're going to walk through for this video, and if you want to jump to any particular step, there will be chapter markers in the description or along the search bar in your playback window. So for this video, what you're going to need is an Android smartphone and a PC, preferably one with a webcam. If you don't have access to an Android smartphone, you can just use a second computer. Anything that runs Electrum will be fine. And you can either fumble around trying to align screens with webcams on computers, or you can use USB to move stuff around every time you see me talk about a step that involves scanning a QR code. So the first thing you're going to have to do is install Electrum on your PC and on your mobile phone. So we're going to go to electrum.org. Don't just Google Electrum and go to the first thing that comes up. And then we're going to go to download. And we're just going to download the latest version of Electrum for our environment. So I'm going to download the Windows installer, and I'm also going to download the APK file as well as the signatures for each of these files. Because one of the things with software wallets like Electrum is it isn't enough just to download it from electrum.org. And I've talked about why this is in a video on network attacks. But basically what you want to do is verify the GPG signature for Electrum. It will take you a few minutes, and I've done a video that walks through how to do that. We've downloaded the installer for Windows, we've downloaded the APK for Android, and so we can verify they are exactly what they should be. If that's just way over your head, the next best thing can be to get your phone to disconnect from your Wi-Fi, just so you're using your mobile carrier's internet, and so to install Electrum off the App Store. And a good way to verify that you've got the right one and not a fake is to go to electrum.org, to go to the download page, and then to click on the Google Play link. The key reason why this is secure is because what we're going to do in this process is download software from multiple different sources using multiple different internet connections and multiple different devices. And what that means is that if an attacker wanted to do something that would cause you to send the funds somewhere else to them, that they would have to compromise not just one device, but two completely different devices, independent devices at the same time. It's not enough for them simply to compromise either the network you're using, your PC, or the wallet software that happens to be installed on your PC already. The other really useful thing with this is Electrum is open source and it runs on Python. So you can actually just download the source and run directly from source yourself on your PC. And if you're really paranoid, you can even build your own APK for the mobile phone. All right, so we've got Electrum installed on our phone and on our PC. And now comes the most important step. Do not skip this step. You need to put your phone into flight mode. So we want to be making sure the Wi-Fi is disabled. We want to be making sure Bluetooth is disabled. And if you're really wanting to be extra sure that things are all above board, this is where you could take out the SIM card in your phone. So this device is now fully offline and air-gapped, and we are not going to turn any of the networking features of this back on until we are finished. With the reason being that even if there is something malicious on here that's going to leak our private keys, it's not going to be able to do so until after we have swept our funds securely. So our phone is now our air-gapped device, and it will be running fully offline. We have our paper wallet just here, which is an old sort of bit address style paper wallet. You know, there's two QR codes on there, one for deposit, one for spend. And as much as these are a terrible idea these days, a lot of people still have them kicking around. If you're someone who had used a BIP38 passphrase on your paper wallet, like if you'd used bit address, that often makes them look blue like this. An easy way to tell is if your private key starts with a 6, then you will need to use two computers for this, because you will need to decrypt that private key before you can sweep it into Electrum. And what you'll need to do is download bit address onto that second computer, the one that's going to go offline, as well as Electrum. And then you'll need to take that computer offline and only then import your private key into bit address offline on that computer. decrypt the private key, and then import that private key into Electrum. And what we're going to do is we are going to open Electrum on our phone, and we are going to select that we want to import Bitcoin addresses or private keys. Now on our phone, we are going to click the camera, and we are going to scan the spend QR code. And we're going to say next. We'll choose a PIN code. For the purpose of this video, I'll just choose 123456. And there we go. So this is what we're going to see. So balance is just going to say it's offline. Send isn't really going to show us much. And if we go into receive and hit request, what we will see is the address on the paper wallet, but that is all we're going to see. So what we're going to do is we're going to open Electrum on our PC. And look, we can call the wallet whatever we like. We can just call it paper wallet in this case. And we are going to say next. Now we want to import a Bitcoin address or private keys and say next. And what we're going to do at this stage is we are going to import the Bitcoin address. And the easiest way to do that is just to click read the QR code. And I've actually already got the receive tab open in Electrum. And I'm just going to show it that. And we can just delete that prefix because we're not actually trying to receive funds. We can also delete the extra rubbish off the end. And there's the address right there. At this point, you can hold up your paper wallet to the thing. You just want to make sure you're covering up the private key because your computer at no point in this process needs to ever see the spend part of the wallet. So we're going to say next. We're not going to worry about a password because we're just going to use this wallet as a one-time thing. And we saw that message there saying that we have a watch-only wallet, which means we can't use this to send transactions on its own. And we can see the funds that are there. And in this example, I only just deposited those funds a few minutes ago and set the fees really low, so it hasn't confirmed yet, but that doesn't matter. What you will see here is all the balances and transactions where you deposited into your wallet. So we are going to go into send. And what we're going to do is we're going to type in the Bitcoin address that we're going to send the funds to. So this is all happening on the PC. So we'll just say max to sweep all the funds, say pay. And then basically we're going to click advanced. And what we can see here is this transaction, but see it is unsigned because this computer doesn't have the private keys on there to be able to sign the transaction. And look, in this example, I'm just going to set the fees at 1 sat per byte just because, you know, I move a lot of crypto around for these sort of videos and don't want to spend tons on fees. But this is a situation where it is worth having it confirmed within a few blocks. So you'll need to set the fee and click on finalize. You can then click on export and select show QR code. And that QR code now has all of the information that is the transaction. So now we go to our phone that has Electrum on it. And if we click on the send tab, there's a button that says scan. So if we press that, it'll start up our camera and we can scan that QR code from our PC. And what we can see is exactly the same transaction from our PC on our phone. And what we can do then is we can confirm that things like the amount that we're sending and the output, that is the destination it's being sent to, matches where it should be going. So this is the step where if you're sending this to like a hardware wallet or something like that, you'd be making sure this address you see on your phone and the amount matches exactly the address on your hardware wallet, because any malware that's going to try and send your funds somewhere else is probably going to do that by adding a different output here in this, either sending all your funds to the scammer's address or something like that. We can say sign. And there you go. And so what we have now on our offline phone is a signed transaction. And so we're going to click the QR code icon, and then back on our computer, we're going to close that transaction we created before. We're going to say tools, load transaction from QR code. And we are going to show it the QR code that we had signed on the device. And again, this is another opportunity to just double check and make sure that all the details are correct. And if we're happy with that, we can say broadcast. And there we go. The payment is sent. So if we go into the transaction history now, we can see that it has sent the transaction. At this point, you're going to want to make sure that your transaction has at least one confirmation before you go reconnecting your phone to the internet. And if you want to, you can also just not only remove the wallet from Electrum, but you can also just uninstall Electrum completely. But even after you've deleted your wallet and uninstalled Electrum, you want to keep your phone offline and air-gapped until that transaction has at least one confirmation. Because after that, it doesn't actually matter if someone has your private key anymore. There are no funds there for them to steal. So there you go. The other thing I'll add is if you have altcoins like, Litecoin, or if your private key is old enough that you want to be sweeping things like Bitcoin Cash off there as well, you will need to use two computers for that step. Just because the Electron Cash version on Android, for whatever reason, has had the support for offline signing like this removed from it, and there simply isn't an Android version of Electrum LTC available right now. If you want to have a bit of a practice for doing this with your actual paper wallet private key, I'd definitely recommend just downloading Electrum on your PC, downloading it on your phone, and then just practicing with a private key that you generate specifically for this. Just generate a new paper wallet, just send $1 there, and just practice setting that backwards and forwards a few times, just so you're comfortable with how to do this process. As long as you don't get so comfortable that you forget to take the device offline before importing your private key. Thanks for watching, I hope that was helpful. Hit like if you think that other people would find this video useful, and hit subscribe if you'd like to be kept in the loop about future content I make that helps people stay safe in the crypto space and to recover if they get into trouble. If you have any questions about this video or a topic that you'd like me to cover, just leave a reply.